Hey guys, it's Rue here, and today we are going to cover a little bit more interesting scripture. I'm not going to go super into this picture right here, but I do want to show you, yes, the 70 years, and I want to ask you to go to my shorts. There you should see two videos that on there have those pictures, and you can get the explanation there of the 70 years prophecy of exile in Babylon, like, Babylonian Talmud. So we're going to get a little bit more into the prophecies in scripture and a couple other things. We're going to start here in Habakkuk 3. So we'll start in verse 1 and get to 3. A prayer of Habakkuk, and I'm probably saying all names wrong. Forgive me. I'm not great with names. Sorry. It is what it is. But the prophet. So this prophet, Habakkuk, however you say it, upon that, I have heard thy speech, O Lord, and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. When you're in your wrath, remember your mercy, right? So God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. So, Elohah, not Elohim, came from here. The Holy One, the sacred, holy one, saint, set apart one. Okay? That one came from Mount Paran. Selah. Place of caverns. Wilderness area bounded on the north by Palestine, on the west by the wilderness of Etham, on the south by the desert of Sinai, and on the east by the valley of Araba. The Exodus was through this area, and probably all 18 stops were in this area. So, Elohah, the Holy One. Selah. So, we're going to get into a couple words. Philistine. Don't jump to conclusions with this. They immigrated from where? Here. To the west seacoast of Canaan. So if we very simply want to get into the argument of who got there first, Abraham moved to the land of Canaan, the land he was going to inhabit after the Canaanites. But who got there before Abraham? The immigrants. Okay. So maybe we should just not care who got there first. I don't think that's a valid argument at all, because we're talking about humanity here, aren't we? Children dying, women dying. Okay. So there's this idea, Palestine's evil. The Philistines are evil. Must kill the Philistines. God told us we gotta kill the Philistines. I mean, yeah, at one point. So, if the other argument is that they did bad at one point, I mean, yeah, they stole the ark. When Jerusalem was taken down, they stole some goods. They stole God's pieces from the temple. So, yeah, that's bad. They got cursed and they gave it back. But again, they've been cursed. Who else has been cursed? Why was Jerusalem destroyed, sacked by Babylon? Was it because Nebuchadnezzar is a bad dude? Because in fact, I know for a fact, God called Nebuchadnezzar his servant. He called Nebuchadnezzar to go take them out. Why? Because they stopped following God. So really, everything that happened there, no nation can touch God's people until they start worshiping other gods. You can have no God but me. And those that keep his ways are blessed and safe so long as they keep those ways. So if the argument is that, well, they did bad before and God told us before to take them out, therefore they're bad, they need to be taken out, then we could say the same for Israel. We could say the same to Judah. They have on numerous occasions gone to worship other gods, as well as other disgusting things we don't need to talk about on YouTube. So in my previous video, we went over the term goy and how it just means nation and all the inhabitants. So Abraham, the verse is, he was a father of many goy. Goy is just nations. You took a word and turned it into a slur. But in reality, anyone who is a descendant of Noah is a goy. And Abraham's prophecy is that he would be the father of many goy. There would be either holy goy or there would be unholy goy. It is your actions that determine whether you're a holy nation or not. Okay. There is neither Jew nor Greek. Okay. So, is Judah the law holder? Yes, but has Judah gone away from the law and taken on other ways before? Also, yes. So, if that's the case, then are there times where Palestine was actually good to Israelites? Where are they in the prophecies about righteous leaders? Well, why don't we just start with Abraham? Very simply, in Genesis 10, you'll find all the sons of Noah, and they're all called goy, and Abraham's ancestors are called goy. They're all goy in that particular chapter. So, Genesis 21. Abraham makes a covenant with Abimelech. Abraham moves to the land of Canaan, specifically where Abimelech is, right? Who is that? Abimelech, father of the king Abimelech, the name of 2 Philistine kings and of 2 Israelites. Here we are speaking of Abimelech in Philistim, from the land of Philistia, the land of the sojourners, the general territory on the west coast of Canaan or entire country of Palestine. Coast. Interesting. With the southern border being Egypt. Interesting. So, the land Abraham settled on was in Palestine. So there goes the other argument. There's no such thing as Palestine. Well, that's where he settled. In the land of Canaan, you had the Palestinians settle and make their own little land called Palestine, or Philistine, Philistia. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Abraham stayed there. He stayed in 2 different places. Interestingly enough, if you look it up, you'll find that the 2 different places he settled, before Lot and then after Lot, both of which happen to be in the West Bank. Do you think back then that the Gaza Strip, because it said West Coast, right, of Canaan, do you think that the Gaza Strip and the West Bank were separated back then? That's something we did today because, well, we wanted to divide and conquer. So the land of Canaan is actually much larger than we thought it to be. And actually, the Jews that talk about taking over, well, what are the plans after Gaza, after you take over that land? They talk about taking over parts of Egypt, and I believe they also have a from the river to the sea. but the river they have from the Nile to the sea. So the land of Canaan, it was big. It was much bigger. The land of Israel today is not actually the size of the promised land. It's smaller. That was Palestine. So there you go. And who got there first? Yeah, all arguments out the window. This isn't about that, right? It's not about land. It's about the people and whether or not they follow God. Who else? And David said in his heart, I shall now perish one day by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than that I should speedily escape into the land of the Philistines, and Saul shall despair of me to seek me any more in any coast of Israel. So we imagine Christ to be like David. The prophecy was that the Holy One comes from, right? Again, okay? David, the one story we hear in Bible school, like Sunday school, is David and Goliath, right? Goliath was a Philistine. Naturally, everybody goes, okay, well, David slayed Goliath because the Philistines were bad and he defeated them. Cool, and he became king. We missed an entire step there. Saul was in control at the time. Saul was a bad king. He was attacking the Philistines. He was warring against the Philistines. And while he was warring against the Philistines, the Holy King was hiding within them. He built an army while there. And yes, he had a lot of Israelis with him. He had the Hebrews. He had Judah. He had people with him, but there were also Philistines with him. He had one particular individual whose name I can't actually remember, but he was a Philistine, and he was very loyal to David. David, he didn't attack Palestine. What he did is he didn't want to make Israel his enemy. He didn't want to make anyone remaining his enemy in the lands over there, because he was trying to become king at some point. He didn't want contention between Palestine or them, and he wanted to be the righteous one that people didn't hate. So he was supposed to war, and he did, but he kept it around the border to not upset anyone. He wasn't trying to go into Israel to war, but he did battle, and he just kind of lied a little bit to, I don't know how to say that, what, Ashish? And during this time, yes, he smote these things, right? So the Amalekites, which is funny because Netanyahu said that, oh, they're the Amalekites, we got to take them out, and don't leave any sheep or oxen, kill them all. He did this so they wouldn't do this. David saved neither man nor woman alive to bring tidings to Gath, saying, lest they should tell on us while he dwells there. So he kind of lied a bit, but it's cool. So, there are times when Israel does well and fails. There are times when Judah does well and fails. There are times when Palestine does well or fails. Here, sorrow shall take hold of the inhabitants of Palestine. So did they do anything in this instance? No. They were hearing of the story from Egypt. What happened to Pharaoh's army? And they were afraid and sad, and yeah. Doesn't say much else in this particular instance. Over here, Philistia, triumph thou because of me. You're going to triumph because of me. Alright? Then here again it was bad. I will make mention of Rahab Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this man was born there. His foundation is the holy mountains. The Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God. Selah. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this man was born there. And of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her, and the highest himself shall establish her. The Lord shall count when he writeth up the people that this man was born there. 3 times they say this man was born there. As well the singers as the players on instruments shall be there. All my springs are in thee. All right? Where does the Holy One come from? Again. So if Christ is David-like, and the one before is Saul-like, then Saul is the one who is attacking Palestine while this image, this foreshadowing, is hiding amongst them, and they help him to victory. Not to mention, the Holy One comes from here. First mention in Genesis 10 brings us to their original name, Philistia, inhabitant of Philistine, Palestine. And again, Isaac. He went to the Philistines. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. The place the righteous have a tendency to go to hide safely is Palestine. Those, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, right? We would expect those to be our righteous figureheads, right? Christ would be like David, the righteous king. So when you start to see Israel trying to take down Palestine, because remember, when they stole the ark, they got curses. Israel didn't need to take them out, and in fact, Israel itself was being punished at the same time for their following of other gods. So while Israel is being punished, Palestine actually took advantage of the situation and took the items. That is why God cursed them, and God cursed them, not Israel. Israel was cursed themselves. They were dealing with their own sins at the time. So what are we actually seeing here? We're seeing a land where, yes, they have done things, especially consider what you would feel like if a king is doing all these terrible things. He's warring against you. When he gets taken out, sometimes they get proud. They're like, yes, our enemy is taken out. And they go and pillage. We were told not to do that. They were warned not to do that. I don't know if I still have that verse pulled up. I do not. But they specifically were warned against that. When your enemy has fallen, do not triumph. Do not be proud and boastful of it. Okay? They weren't supposed to do those things, which is why they got cursed. But they were doing those things because they themselves were being attacked. Okay? What are we seeing now? What do you think that might mean? Do we have a righteous king in Israel right now? Some might say so, but is it the Messiah? Is it the Messiah figure like David or Christ or? It's not. It's just a man. That man is following in the footsteps of Saul, the king of Israel. He is attacking Palestine. Why do you think he might be doing that? Do you think it's because of the things he said? Because he certainly knows of the prophecies, and so does Trump because of those coins. Go watch my shorts on that, or you can watch the really long last video I did that was about an hour that goes more in depth. But they know for sure because they're establishing it on coins. They're celebrating 70 years of exile ending, but they themselves have not been exiled. Palestine has been exiled. So why are they celebrating 70 years of exile? And why is it that we end up having a 7-year tribulation? 1948 to 2018 when they signed the 70-year coin. That's 70 years from 1948. You think that's coincidence? Or do they know? Why is it that Trump's coin on one of them says Cyrus, Balfour, Trump, in that order, declaration? It doesn't say Balfour Declaration. It says Cyrus, Balfour, Trump Declaration. 7 years. 7 years tribulation. Why do you think it is Netanyahu says war will end in 2025? Because 2025 is exactly 7 years of tribulation after he refused to set the captives free. What book do they follow? The Babylonian Talmud. What is the exile called? Babylonian exile. Where does the Messiah figurehead or the prophet hide? Within the Philistines. Where did Abraham settle? In West Bank. Why do you think it is he's going after Gaza? And why do you think it is he's going after the West Bank and has them cornered in that area? Because that's the land of Abraham. All of it's the land of Abraham, but that's specifically where Abraham settled, where he dug his wells, in the West Bank. When you see Pharaoh starting to kill ruthlessly without regard to innocents or women or children, you think maybe he's trying to take out someone he doesn't want to come up? Anytime Israel is in exile under Babylon, which, who owns Hollywood but Israel? What does Hollywood claim to be? Babylon. Who runs this country money-wise? Who is the number one country we have given more financial support to any other country since the 1940s? Over $200 billion to Israel. Top receiver of all of our money. Since the 1940s, all those combined, no, not yearly, but that's the total. I think next is Egypt and Afghanistan, but top being Israel. You don't think that this maybe was the 1948 situation was kind of a joint deal with America? You ever wonder how it is that Germany lost World War I when they had everything going? How did we get America into World War I? The Jew promised, in exchange for Palestine, they said, I will get the United States to join the war so that you don't lose, Britain. We'll help you take out Germany in World War I. Can you imagine how hateful they might have been in World War II after this happened, maybe? You ever ask yourself why they were hated? You ever think why they were hated in Russia? Why it is that a country will take them in and after a certain amount of time they end up kicking them out? Jews, Balfour, America, Germany defeated in World War I, the Jews get Palestine, as agreed, and America made it happen. And now we pay Israel more than anyone else, so far. Granted, there were people we paid way more than that before the 70s, so they weren't first in the 70s, but past the 70s, after that, they just rushed right on to number one. Over 200 billion. Are you guys seeing it yet? Isaac sojourned in this land as guided by God. Abraham did. David did. The most extreme monotheist group, Muslims. You could say Jews too, but currently they shall not dwell in thy land. This is the argument, right? Take out the Palestine people, right? They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. Babylonian Talmud. Whoever is serving multiple gods, no matter what they claim, doesn't matter what you call yourself. We're not going to get into that topic. Does not matter what you call yourself. It matters what you actually act like. And if you serve multiple gods, regardless if you call yourself a child of the Most High God, but you're secretly serving other gods, leaving out the first part of the name of your book, Babylonian Talmud, who do Muslims serve? Don't go along with your whole, they're terrorists, they're bad people. Usually those ones are actually CIA. But anyway, no, if you read their book, anyone who actually follows the book would know that they are highly monotheist. They say, be Jew or be Christian. You say, rather be the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the monotheists. That's what Muslims say. Is it okay for a Jew to call Jesus Yehoshua and a Christian to call him Jesus? Then why is it not okay for us to call him God? Jews to call him Yahweh, I call him Yahuah, and Muslims to call him Allah. Technically, God is just a term, so actually the least accurate would be the Christians who very simply call him God. You'd be a little more accurate to say Eloha, because Elohim is multiple gods. So Eloha, God, the singular, that would be the term you're using. But God can sometimes, in the Bible, be referring to Elohim, or gods. So really, we're not even close. Yahuah, Yahweh, Allah. Different languages, talking about the same character. When they describe the character, that's what you know by their fruit, by how they are, God is righteous. There shall be no bad associated with him. That's how the Quran is. They call out Satan. They believe in Jesus, Yehoshua, the Messiah, however you want to call him. They believe in him, but they also understand that Allah, the Most High God, the one, the singular, the only one above all, the creator of everything, they serve him and him alone. Yet, the leaders trying to lead Judah right now have caused Judah to sin like they did in the past, and caused them to worship multiple gods, just like they did when Christ was here and called them out then for it. And then in the end, what did he say? Talking about the end times, talking to the churches in Revelation, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Your Messiah, if you're Christian, your Messiah told you that in the end times there would be a group of people who call themselves Jews that would basically rule the world. They're the synagogue of Satan. Who rules the world in the end time? Satan. Who's ruling the world financially, everything else? United States, the most powerful country in the world, having paid them more than anyone else. We are slaves to that country. Hollywood is that country. Media is run by that country. In our country. By that country. Both. Israel runs our media. Next chapter. He states it again. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Have we wrapped it up yet for you? So, the Holy One comes from Paran, the caves, right around Palestine, between Palestine and Mount Sinai. He's hiding amongst the Palestinians, like Abraham did, like Isaac did, like David. I mean, this is the story. There are multiple rulers of Israel. Some are good, some are bad. The bad guy starts attacking Palestinians while the good guy's hiding amongst the Palestinians. Why do you think he's cornering them and taking them out so much? Because time's running out. 70 years was up. His 70 years was up in 2018, and we're almost at the end of 7 years after, to which he said the war would end in 2025. He is trying to take out the saints. They control our media. If they control our media, then who do you think they're going to call themselves? Jews, but are not, but do lie. The world is upside down. Completely. Mystery Babylon, Babylonian exile, Babylonian Talmud, Mystery Babylon. How many more times do you need to see that associated with the current people in that place right now? Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, certainly enjoyed his reign, right? But all must come to an end eventually. Netanyahu is enjoying it. It was prophesied that he would be the one to bring out the Messiah. Rebbe was expecting him and pressured him if he saw him and he did not see the Messiah standing next to him. Well, what are you doing? He's not right here with you. Make it happen. Netanyahu has an extreme amount of pressure to bring the Messiah about. And his way of bringing the Messiah about is the Zionist way. Force it by doing evil. Attacking your brother. Are we all not from Noah? Are we all not Goy? You can call a Jew Goy if you watch my last video or my shorts. Jews agree. Jews who are willing to stick to the definition from the Torah understand that it means nations, and understands that Abraham was the father of many Goy, many unrighteous and righteous Goy. We are brothers and sisters, and our actions determine who we are. And if ye be Christ's, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise. Why are we making it about genetics and deciding that the people living over there who are not following him are Abraham's seed? They're not Christ, then they're not Abraham's seed. We have lost the point that the chosen people are those who follow Christ and his ways, which are indeed found in the Torah, but cannot include Babylonian Talmud, because that's the Babylonian exile. We are in Babylon. America and Israel are Babylon. They control the world. Technically Israel, because they kind of have us wrapped around their pinky. We do everything we can to protect them. Can't say bad about them. You'll be called an anti-Semite. Even if you're a Jew, well, you must be a self-hating capo. How dare you talk badly about Israel, even though Israel has been defeated by God before because they served strange gods. Cool. Israel's not some perfect law-keeping, free from judgment nation, okay? God's chosen people are those who have been scattered across the nations, all over the nations, and in the end, God brings them home, and none will be able to question it, because it's such a miracle. The highways opened, and we can travel home from all nations across the earth, not a singular Judah. Lost 10 tribes, they're not lost, they just forgot who they were because the world fooled us so we wouldn't know who we were. Satan took over the world and rewrote history to confuse us. We have no idea who we are anymore, even though a lot of us strangely have the same names. Somehow those survived. Weird. Especially considering people are typically named after their land, and funny how our history, we come from Germany, the Rubens, a place where Jews flocked to and converted to Protestantism. So yes, my grandmother was not technically a Jew. Doesn't mean her siblings, or doesn't mean her ancestors weren't. Because again, how did we get there? What's our name? Why is it that ancestry can't go past further than 1800s? Wonder why. Because they don't want you to. Most of the records have been destroyed since the reset. Because they don't want you to know who you are. Those orphan trains, those are our ancestors. Those who follow are Abraham's seed. They are Israel. Not just someone who decides to call themselves that because they think they're genetically that, when in reality, everybody is a genetic mutt. There's been so much mixing. You certainly have some people that remained in Israel. Not all got taken out of Israel and scattered. Those would be Judah. And some of them are there today. Are the government Judah? Nope. That's the kingdom of Israel, the one that got sacked after they separated from Judah and everyone else. They got taken out first, then Judah. By God's ordering, my people perished for lack of knowledge. Those who follow God and Torah, no matter what you call it, so long as the actions are there. If someone had never been read the Bible, never had a chance to get it, tribes refuse. There's still tribes today that refuse to let white man on their land. So, yeah. People like that, if they follow, having not known the law, then they are a law unto themselves. Because they did good. Not just good people, but they understood. Because the law, very simply, is actually scientific. And it's the laws of nature, if you understand them. So, yeah. I would say most tribal people, scientifically speaking, they may do some sins, but as far as like healthy eating and everything, they got those laws down quite pat, unless they're, cannibalistic. But a lot of tribes are eating quite well simply because they are out without modern conveniences and all the industrialization that makes everything full of junk, processed, right? So they are healthier. Now they gotta have the rest of it too. The law is not Talmud. The law is not some crazy, there's 600 things you gotta keep. No, it's simple. When are the feasts? They're surrounding the agriculture. The feasts are around the agriculture. So in the fall with your harvest, you have your fall harvest feast. In the spring, everybody has their spring feast, right? Does anyone celebrate in the winter? No, because that's death. You don't celebrate in the death. You celebrate when they come back. You mourn. You throw on sackcloth, right? Until he returns. When he's alive again in the spring, then we don't celebrate in the wintertime. All right, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going, again, too far into too much. But the Holy One comes from Mount Paran between Sinai and Palestine. They hide within the Palestinians, the Philistines, right? The Holy Ones do. The bad kings attack the Palestinians while the Holy Ones are hiding there. 70-year Babylonian exile. Where's Babylon right now? Mystery Babylon. Well, I don't know. Who's got the book that says Babylonian? Right? Who's following multiple gods and who's following a singular god? Everybody is from Noah. Okay? And Abraham is the father of many, many, many goy. Some righteous, some not. Are all Jews in Israel bad? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Judah was caused to stumble by the leaders of Israel. And who paid the price? The leaders of Israel. Who was saved? The Israelites, who were simply taken in exile and re-taught and then given back their land. Okay, do you see what happens here? Let's not forget what our Messiah taught us. Love thy God, love thy neighbor. All the rest of the Torah and the prophets hang on these two. They're not erased by these two. They hang on them because if you truly love someone, if you truly love God and you truly love others, then following Torah would come naturally to you because you would never do anything negative to anyone. That's why love is most important, because love never rejoices in iniquity. 1 Corinthians 13, right? Go back and reread what our Messiah said. He taught us a lot. I don't know how we got so opposite. All of America somehow changed. All the world fell for the delusion God sent on his people because they sinned. Now again, because they sinned. So the delusion is here is because the fathers sinned. But the children who did not are not going to pay the price of the fathers. Those who believed, though did not see the miracles, blessed are they. They will return to Zion. We will be returning from Zion from all four corners of the earth soon. But we gotta watch Pharaoh Netanyahu do his thing. Eyes on Rapha, guys. Miracles will happen. Like, subscribe. Peace out.